Guest hosting for Art were over. I got bad news for you, Gus and Midland. They are not. I'm just getting started. I am here and looking forward to continuing to fill in for Art from time to time. I give Art credit, as always. He's gone election week, and he seems to always leave me with a show on election week. Thankfully, it's a quieter election time in the Great Lakes Bay region, although, Jonathan, my eyes are wide open to an election in Saginaw, which doesn't have anything to do with human beings, but the Saginaw Township school millage seems like a huge one on the ballot tomorrow. So, yes, folks, there's Election Day. This is your first reminder that I will give you for the next 2 days. Tomorrow's Election Day. If you're in a locality that has an election, get out there and vote. I don't care that it's windy. I don't care that there's leaves falling. I don't care that it's cold. We need you to get out there and vote and do your civic duty. And Jonathan, as usual, at this time, what time are we at in Vegas? 6 a.m.?
Oh, I don't know.
Aren't you a Vegas guy?
Yeah, every weekend I'm
That's
out there.
what I thought.
Yep. No,
the point being what? Do we think Art just rolled in from the craps table like a few minutes ago?
No, Art is a faithful WSGW listener when he's not here. He's been up since the beginning of the morning team, which was at 5:30 this morning, so like 2:30 out there.
I call horse honky. I'm
listening.
telling you, he got on a heater. He's been at the craps table. He's been enjoying himself, and he just rolled into bed like in the last hour. He made sure that someone was here doing the show, and then he was like, fine, and he clicked his phone off, and now he's going to take a couple minutes to breathe. At least that's the vision I have. That's like the hope. That's like what I
think he's
see in my head.
He's out there for a car show. So
is it car show this time or not electronics?
I don't know.
I thought it was like the big consumer electronics show. We'll find out.
idea.
He always comes back with some content, right?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just going to say a couple things. So one, here in the first hour, we have a guest with us, which we'll get to in a second. Second hour, folks, we're going to open up the phone lines, and I'm just going to give us a sampling of a couple things that we should talk about. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions offensive line and their lack of blocking yesterday. That's a subject that we can talk about. I generally have a question for everyone, and I'm curious on this because I thought I knew it, but I really don't know now. Who is going to be the next major Detroit sports team to win a championship? Is it going to be the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, or Red Wings? Who's going to be the next to win a championship?
I've just received word. Art is on a train somewhere.
He's on a train somewhere?
On a train somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. My vision of him playing craps on
He might be playing craps on the train.
I'm hoping.
Traveling.
The traveling casino. So let's talk about which one of those four is going to win a championship next, because it's really starting to bother me. It's been a hot minute since we won a championship. Our guest, Matt Travis, with Midland Center for the Arts. What is the last major Detroit team that won a championship at this point?
Are we counting University of Michigan football?
No, we are not.
We
are not counting that. Nothing with an asterisk, Matt Travis. We're not counting that.
When's the last time the Wings won?
I was debating, is it the Wings or the Pistons?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Wings maybe had one in the late aughts, but
2008, I think, was when the Wings won.
Yeah.
Was it 8 for the Wings and like 5 or 6 for the Pistons?
For 2004, I think, was Pistons.
So bottom line, it's been far too long.
Yep.
So I'm starting to get worried. Like, hey, I'm 50, soon to be 51. Are we going to make it to the next championship? Like, knock on wood. That scares me. Folks, I know that you really love to talk about politics, so let's do it. We can talk about politics next hour. There is an election. There are some big elections across the country. New York mayoral. Virginia has elections for their major offices, as well as the state of New Jersey. Is this a referendum on the current administration, like many see these odd-year elections, or are these kind of independent of themselves? Curious what you think. The only pre-warning I'm going to give everyone, folks, is in my last job, I always tried to be very politically correct. Was always worried about offending someone. A little bit of that edge is off. So if you really want to talk, let's talk. I'm all for it, but I may have some things to say in return. So would welcome that discussion. So that'll be the second hour. But for this hour, it's the Matt Show. Matt Flan, Matt Travis. Matt, I want to make sure I have it right. Are you both president and CEO at Midland Center for the Arts?
I am, yeah. Happy to be here.
Do you know what that actually ever means when you're both president and CEO?
Good question. Let me look at my contract and make sure I know exactly what it means. But I certainly have developed an idea in the last 8 months.
Okay, totally fair. I've had that role before, and I laugh. I'm like, what does that really mean? I don't even know. You're just the head man in charge. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the classic, can you tell me what is the Midland Center for the Arts and how long it's been there? We're going to just go with the fact that everybody knows what Midland Center for the Arts is because it's so amazing. It's so badass. Everyone knows. Every listener has a great idea. So we can skip all that today. Look at that. We just took out 30 minutes of the show. We're flying. You're undergoing a massive renovation right now. What are we doing over there?
Thank you. Man, what aren't we doing, I think, is the way to start it. First of all, this all started with significant renovations to the museum, the Hall of Ideas. That's kind of the centerpiece of what we're doing. We wanted to create a space that celebrated creativity, a space that reminded us that we're all creative people, whether we see it in ourselves or not. And so that's really the centerpiece of what we're doing, but it extends so far beyond that. I mean, we have new archival spaces for the history and new collections for the museum itself that will be included. We have new community rooms that will be available for private functions, public functions, brand new office space for our museum. So it really, I would say it probably touches 60 to 70% of the building. So it's quite transformative, literally.
So I have to ask this question. The renovation, I'm going to ask it in this form. Why now? Mm-hmm. And then semicolon. Jonathan, I don't know if I'm using my semicolon correctly, but I feel like using a semicolon this morning. Why now? Question mark, semicolon. Yeah, that's bad. That's got to be bad grammar.
Yeah, no, it's just a question mark, and then you start a new sentence.
Followed by, what did the Midland flood and COVID kind of have to do with the timing of the renovation?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to ask Siri if you can have a question mark following a semicolon. But why now? A critical piece is I'm kind of living it. I have a daughter who in about 24-ish days is going to turn 8 years old, right? And the museum has actually functionally been closed with the exception of a few kind of external auxiliary exhibits we did. But for all intents and purposes, the museum has been closed since 2020. So the last time she got in there, she was 2.5. So there's a whole generation of young people that don't know what our museum space is.
That's crazy. Like, it's literally, it's been closed since 2020.
It's been closed since 2020. As you alluded to, the flood, as it did to many businesses, many homes, significantly impacted the Center for the Arts. So we wanted to use that opportunity while conversations about a museum renovation had happened as early as 2018, 2019. 2020, when the flood happened, we wanted to use this time as an opportunity not to rebuild what we had, but to innovate onward and think about what we could be. And so instead of, putting the HVAC units back in and putting all the breakers back in and kind of running it back the way that we used to, we wanted to create something that our community could celebrate. We believe strongly that you don't have to go to Detroit or Grand Rapids or Lansing to go to a state-of-the-art museum space. We wanted to have that here, so that way everyone in our region could do so, could engage with us in a way that was meaningful, and you didn't have to drive a couple of hours to visit a space like that.
I got to tell you guys, when it comes to time, I get thrown off. If everyone knows your timelines well, I feel like there's BC, before Christ.
Yeah.
There's AD, which everyone knows. It's got some fancy Latin term, but it basically means
Anno Domini.
Yeah, which a lot of people misconstrue just straight as after death. No, it's not quite. That's not what it meant. It started in year 1, correct?
Yes.
Thanks, Jonathan. You're like my own Chat GPT. You're like Chat GP Dento. I got to figure out
less,
what you are.
Confidence.
Exactly. So you're Chat GP, Jonathan. We're going to give you a name. By the way, side note, 2 weeks ago, I watched Saturday Night Live with Bad Bunny. I know I just triggered some of you, but Bad Bunny was the host, and they did a whole thing on Chat GPT-O. And it was like an angry Latin uncle on your screen whenever you went on, which was really funny. But I digress. But then I feel like we also now have post-COVID. I feel like post-COVID's kind of become, for a lot of people, this timeline in our lives that just has kind of made everything different, transitioned everything different. Everything just seems like that is like the start of a new world as we know it. Like it's just kind of one of those odd things. So last question before we go to this first break. I understand the timing. How much did COVID have to do with maybe the timing right now? I know the flood clearly did because of the damage and the different things that happened to historical artifacts, etc. But how much did COVID have to do with it, Matt?
Good question. I mean, and you remember for folks that were impacted by the flooding, I mean, it was a double whammy. You know, March 2020 was when COVID hit, and then later that spring is when we had the issues with the catastrophic flooding. I'd have to think about that. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned these eras, post-COVID and pre-COVID and AD and whatever else. And I think if you worked in customer service at all, specifically if you worked in an industry that dealt with mass gatherings of people, as we do in the arts and as many of the listeners do, I think almost the post-COVID era had several sort of small eras within itself, because we were literally reliant on bringing people together, and that was really hard during that time. But regarding COVID specifically, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that one. But certainly, the flooding significantly impacted the center. The COVID things, that impacted the way that we operated. Creating some new and interesting innovations just to kind of get through and continue offering what we did. But as far as impacting the museum renovations, I don't know. I'd have to think about that further.
Okay. Well, we don't have time to think about that. We have to go to commercial. We'll be back after these messages.
It's almost here. Associates.
Is that a hypothesis or meteorological?
Are we
facts?
sure?
That's pretty accurate to what's going to happen. Yeah.
Until I see Terry Henney, I'm not buying it. You know, I gotta hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And once Terry Henney says it, then I'll believe. Is it really supposed to clear up that well?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this morning even my dog. I opened the door and said, "Hey, buddy, go potty," and he kind of turned around and looked at me. And listen, this is terrestrial radio, so I can't repeat what he said back to me, but it wasn't very nice. He kind of looked and just said, "No, thanks, Dad. I'm good." So if you made it out today and you're a part of this weather, I give you full props, because you should be home eating oatmeal, watching It's a Wonderful Life, because why not? So we are here with Matt Travis, and we're talking Midland Center for the Arts. So Matt, you know me. I like to bounce all over the place.
Let's bounce.
Tell me about Six. I need to know about Six. I have a TV in my bathroom at home, so when I'm getting ready, the TV's on the whole bit. And lately, I can't be in there longer than 10 minutes before a commercial for Six comes on. Tell me all about Six and when this is coming to the center.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for a great question. One of my favorite shows. The very first show we took our then 5-year-old to on Broadway, first Broadway show she ever saw. So I have a wonderful nostalgic sense with that piece. But I would describe it as a concert experience, as if the ex-wives, the 6 ex-wives of Henry VIII, were all in a girl group and all singing about their experiences being married to the King of England.
First of all, I'm a little caught off that you talk about nostalgia with an 8-year-old. She's 8, brother.
I do.
You got to maybe a little bit more time before there's nostalgia. Like, I have a 15-year-old.
Right.
She does love Six. Where have you seen Six previously? Did you watch it on Broadway?
Yeah, actually, I've seen it on Broadway twice. I saw it after it first opened, and you talk about COVID. I mean, that show was supposed to open the night that Broadway shut down for COVID in March of 2020. And
you're joking.
I'm dead serious. Look it up, book it. That's what happened. The night they were all ready for opening night, and then dinner o'clock, they alerted everybody in the company that Broadway's going dark. We're not opening tonight.
So when you're starting up a new show like Six, and you're getting to opening day, so you've got your theater, you've got your set, you've done your auditions, you have rehearsed. You're talking about years of work.
Oh yeah,
to get up to that point, and then it's like literally they take the rug right out from under your feet.
Yeah, I mean the genesis of a Broadway show is a pretty wild process, but yeah, they had done several workshops. It had performed extensive run in Minneapolis beforehand. Shows typically don't just kind of pop up on Broadway. It's a year-long process, and so Yeah, I mean, lots of money invested. The sets obviously already been created. The costumes have been designed. They're ready to go. Everybody's under contract. You're dealing with all the myriad of unions, and with a Broadway show like that, there's several. And then maybe 2 to 3 hours before opening night, it's like, sorry guys, we have to push pause on this. And I'm not sure when the exact opening occurred. Probably sometime later that year,
like
in
6 months later,
2021,
9 months later.
I can't remember, but Broadway was dark for quite some time.
Chat GP Dent. Do we have a date when it actually opened?
October 3rd, 2021.
Yeah, I mean, so now we're talking a year and a half.
Wow, you are talking a year and a half.
Yep.
Broadway opened before, but then they clearly didn't want to reopen a brand new show, so they probably pushed it a little bit further, build up more. So here's one thing that I love. So it's a show that's only been on Broadway since October 21, yet here we are in 2025, 4 years later, and it's made it to Midland. Isn't it great when you can see a show like that quickly make it from Broadway to, here in the Great Lakes Bay region? It's kind of a cool treat for us.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, and the performances are really outstanding. It's a show that you can, honestly, as you said, art's in Las Vegas. It's kind of like as if these women were putting on a Vegas-style concert experience in some ways, but really wonderful all-female cast, typically all-female band as well. So just a really great work talking about empowerment. But man, it's kind of like part Spice Girls, part Hamilton, part Tudor is kind of how I would describe it.
Jonathan's going to be there now that he's heard that. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the first to get tickets. Have you seen it?
Not live, but yeah.
But you've seen? Okay.
So great. Yeah.
When is it coming to the center, Matt? What are the dates, and are there tickets?
Yeah, I mean, get them quick. Our audiences have really responded to this title, in part because it's something you can see multiple times. I mean, I'm sure I'll be back. Actually, my daughter, who I mentioned, her 8th birthday occurs on one of the performances, so she will be there dressed up, ready to go on the Saturday night show. But yeah, it's actually Thanksgiving weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can catch 5 performances in 3 days.
And where do they go to get tickets, Matt? What are their 2 options?
Yep, you certainly can give us a call, 989-631-5930. Best place to go is always midlandcenter.org.
Okay, you heard it here. We are going to take another break. When we come back, I want to hear all about the holidays at Midland Center for the Arts.
It's a joy to watch your kids grow.
5 trees up currently in the Flan House, and by this weekend there'll be 11 trees up. By the weekend after, outdoor lights everywhere, and at that point people start pulling out of Bronner's and heading to the Flans to see what's going on because it's that chaotic.
Just live in a forest at that point. Just
too much, guys? Is it too much, or is it great? Like, what do we think?
There's actually an interesting phenomenon in our industry. This is a real thing. They call it the Mariah Carey effect. And on November 1st, Mariah Carey always has an epic video she puts out of the first official playing of All I Want for Christmas Is You. And on November 1st, just after November 1st, whatever psychologically people get through Halloween, they acknowledge that we're squarely at the end of fall. That's when people start buying tickets for holiday type events. And so that really kind of kicks off the sales for the Christmas season. So it's a very real thing.
There we have it. So with that, I'm going to transition.
It's transition.
The holidays are coming up at Midland Center for the Arts. You guys get going before Thanksgiving at Midland Center for the Arts. So although the CEO isn't going to get going till after the game, his operation is. So let's walk through some of the cool things. We got a little Cirque Dreams. So people that don't know just Cirque in general, what is Cirque Dreams Holidays?
Yeah, a multi kind of medium type performance. If you're familiar with Cirque, it's high quality, high level acrobatics. There's a live music component. I'll be curious to see it. We had this title a couple of years ago, but it's never the same. They're constantly putting in new acts, new music. So that'll be great. Even if you saw it when we had it a couple of years ago, it'll be a great time to come back. And what's cool about that is they're actually teching the show at the center. So what does that mean? That means that they're arriving about a week before the performance, 8 or 9 days before the performance, and they've been rehearsing in the studio in New York City or wherever it is that they rehearse. But we're the first leg of their tour, and so they come to the center and they rehearse with full-on technical elements to ready those for the entire tour. So they'll be in residence in Midland for my marketing guys are bummed that I don't remember exactly how much, but we'll say roughly a week, and then those performances will be in a couple weeks' time.
That's awesome. So, folks, if you're in downtown Midland and you see some incredibly in-shape people,
Yep, usually super jacked.
that's just going to be your Cirque folks. They're going to stick out a little bit differently. So then we go into December. After 6, we got the 6 queens out of here. We're now going to Mannheim Steamroller. Classic. Pretty cool that you guys are bringing in Mannheim Steamroller, because this time of year, they're in high demand. Really cool that they're coming into the center around the holidays.
Yeah, another piece that I have actual nostalgia about, as going down with my parents, 9 or 10 years old, 30-ish years ago. We went every year for several years with my cousins. So lots of wonderful sentiments there, and we're happy to have them back at the center. Our audiences have really responded to that. We sold out the evening show, and I know it's in the middle of the week, but we actually added an afternoon performance in the middle of the week. Because we sold the first one out so quickly.
That's awesome. That's what a great excuse. Hey guys, sorry, I'm not going to be at work at that point. I got to go to a show to support community. I mean, that's part of what this is. And then our own Midland Symphony Orchestra is going to do Holiday Pops, an annual rite, on Saturday, December 13th. How's the symphony doing these days, Matt?
Thanks for asking. We had a wonderful concert on Saturday. We had close to 900 people at a live classical music performance, which is, bucking a lot of trends, and we're really proud of that. But Maestro Ratte had them sounding great, and we're excited for this performance in December, which will feature the choirs of the center, so lots of wonderful local talent, our professional symphony orchestra, and they'll be joined by guest artist Ariel Jacobs, who has several Broadway credits, but you may remember her as Jasmine in Aladdin on Broadway.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Was she on the initial Aladdin or one of the later ones?
I'm not. I don't think she originated the role. You'll have to fact check me on that one. But she was a Jasmine on Broadway. Was also in Here Lies Love and several other credits. And there's kind of a cool, we'll tease it a little bit, but a cool newly composed work that we had written just for her, just for the center, that will feature a famous song from Aladdin and a famous Christmas carol. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to confuse the world here for a quick second. December 20th, even though we're close to Christmas, am I going to hear the song Elvira sung by the Oak Ridge Boys? That's what I want to know. Am I going to be able to? And then furthermore, I mean, I've asked you to sing previously. Can you sing a quick verse of Elvira? Do you have that in your repertoire?
I only know Elvira. I think that's about all I know. I think
you got it. That's where your deep voice has to come in. You just got Elvira.
Yep.
You got to. That's like a tone that I can actually hit.
That's funny. While I don't know their set list, we won't find out until the day of. I certainly would think that might be there, but
are they? The reason I asked, do you think at December 20th they're going to do maybe like the Oak Ridge Christmas album at that point and mix it with some of the old classics? What do you anticipate?
I think so, yeah. And it is worth noting we did have the Oak Ridge Boys sometime within the last 3 years, and audiences really responded well to that one too. But I do anticipate some seasonal favorites as well.
Awesome. We're going to take another break. We're going to be back with Matt Travis discussing the future of Midland Center for the Arts.
For 3 days only, you're in.
President and CEO, whatever that means, of Midland Center for the Arts, which I'm glad that I'm not the only one confused. So, Matt, tell me about the future of Midland Center for the Arts. I'm going to ask it in one of two ways, so stick with me. What's Midland Center for the Arts look like 5 years from now? What's Midland Center for the Arts look like 25 years from now, in your mind?
Oh, man, 25. Wow. I feel pretty good about 5. Right now we're in the middle of a strategic plan and capitalization plan, and that's going to inform largely what the next 5 years look like. But I can say with confidence, the central piece of what we're trying to do is open this new museum. We believe in having a state-of-the-art space that's going to engage with upwards of 50,000 new folks, is going to be that pivotal piece. I see a center that's one of the leading field trip destinations in the state and the leading field trip destination in the region, and that really feeds everything. We had last year between 5,000 and 6,000 kids that came to the Center for the Arts for matinee performances as school field trips. But we haven't had a museum component for them to kind of cling to. But when we can fuse those types of activities, it really builds that relationship. So I really think ensuring that the museum opens successfully and thinking about those 40 to 50,000 new people when they come. How do we right-size their engagement? How do we get them returning back to the museum? But if they don't want to return back to the museum, how do we get them coming to Broadway performances and symphony orchestra performances and community theater? We have a vibrant, thriving community theater program. How do we make sure that when people come to us for the first time, they're having a positive experience and then they're coming back for whatever ways in which they want to engage with the center? So that's kind of the pivotal piece. We should be opening this museum about a year from now. So ensuring that we're ready to go day one, ensuring that people are having a positive experience day one, dealing with that initial bubble that we have in that first year when we get that new 40 to 50,000 people, and then retaining them and ensuring that they continue to have a positive experience in other areas of the center. That's really kind of where I see as our main emphasis for the next 3 to 5 years.
So you hit on community theater. Mm-hmm. Do I have it right? Is a Raisin in the Sun coming up?
Raisin in the Sun is in February.
One of your next shows.
And this very weekend, Sense and Sensibility opens. So excited to see that.
How thriving is community theater right now in the region? Because I go back to the Mamma Mia days where we put the different
you wore
organizations
your producer hat?
together. Yeah, absolutely. I was in one of those Broadway publications, which still cracks me up because that's the last place that I should ever be seen. But as a reminder for those that are listening, there was a cool production of Mamma Mia held at Midland Center for the Arts. We brought together community theater from Pit and Balcony in Saginaw, Bay City Players in Bay City, the great community theater in Midland, some of the other colleges. And I still have people to this day tell me, Matt, that they thought that production was on par with the production they've seen traveling through Chicago. It was incredible. What's the health of community theater both in Midland and in the region?
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate in our region that there are incredibly robust opportunities for artistic participation. Whether it's taking classes at the center, Creative 360 is another wonderful organization, Studio 23, of course the Art Museum here in Saginaw. So we have ways in which you can right-size your engagement however you want to. And I think that never more true than in community theater. How wonderful is it that we have the Bay City Players and Pit and Balcony, as you mentioned, and Creative 360 and the Center and, Friction Theater and all of these other great opportunities for people to engage. So I think it's really fantastic that when people want to make art, they have many avenues to do so, and our audiences have a chance to see it, whether they want to see it with us or Creative 360, and in whatever kind of shapes and size. Creative 360 has a really wonderful Broadway flight series, which is more or less, forgive me if I'm paraphrasing incorrectly, a cabaret series with some flight mixtures of various assortment. So that's really wonderful. Bay City Players always has a great season. We're very proud of the work that we do in the community theater space. But I think thinking about ways in which we can elevate one another, in which we can celebrate our friends and neighbors as they make art is really critical.
Very cool. So last question I have for you today. We started with the renovation. Let's go back to the renovation. Mm-hmm. It is not a cheap undertaking. Mm-hmm. Are you still looking for people to donate to the renovation and still invest in kind of this next generation and next iteration of Midland Center for the Arts?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for asking. We're fortunate in that we've raised over $46 million for this project, which is in some ways astonishing. And the generosity of folks continue to just blow me away. But we believe that we're going to bring something truly special to this region. And if you're interested in participating, we certainly welcome that. You can reach out to me directly. You can visit our website, www.midlandcenter.org, which has more detailed information about the project, as well as some recent renderings. So we welcome those conversations, and we certainly appreciate any support that you're able to provide.
And very, very last question, I lied. Remind everyone the website and the phone number if they want to buy tickets to an upcoming event.
Yep, www.midlandcenter.org, and 989-631-5930 is the best number.
Matt, great seeing you as always. Thanks for all that you do at Midland Center for the Arts, and I hope you guys have an outstanding holiday season.
Thank you. Same to you.
We'll be back.
Who doesn't love a shopping event? Welcome to Wolfiles Ace Hardware first ever holiday open house. It's November 5th from 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. Amazing door prizes, sales and specials, coupons for everyone at the door, vendors, Big Meaty Phillies food truck, Sissin Bros taco food truck, a hot cocoa bar for kids and adults, games, and Santa. A night filled with deals and fun. Wednesday night, November 5th, 6:30 till 8:30. Wolfiles Ace Hardware holiday open house, 5818 State Street, Saginaw.
Every time I turn around.
That's all for this hour of the Art Lewis Show, presented by Westside Decorating Center. I want to thank Matt Travis from Midland Center for the Arts for joining us last hour. Up in the next hour, we're going to take your calls and hear what you have to say. But first, the news.
Broadcasting from the